I don't wanna say anything, cause if I do I might say the wrong words. Oh no. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes on and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can't wait for a single reason not to say goodbye. Oh, if I said what's on my mind, would you stay with me tonight? If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. If I said what's on my mind, would that make you run and hide? Would that make you run and hide? Run and hide. Run and hide. Oh, would that make you run and hide? Don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of options, nothing's working. I'm out of service. Come help me now, I'm fucking nervous. I'm trying but can't scratch the surface. So I'll keep my mouth shut and not listen. Afraid I'd lose you if I didn't. Till we find what we're missing and compromise. So I'll keep my shoes on and not leaving. We're on thin ice, winter season. Can't wait for the sea.
This is Brandon Cutler from AEW, and you're watching Cole TV. Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60, where we recap everything that happened this past week in the world of professional wrestling. I'm Xlj the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Mr. B-Roll.
How are we doing out there, world? And I guess you could say over this past weekend as wrestling fans, you could say the stuff that dreams are made of.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yes. Nice. Very well played. Well, we are back. We are here. We had to take a week off, but we're back. We got so much wrestling to talk about, and we're supersized tonight, and we're live. So thank you so much for joining. We got so much to talk about. I can assure you, we're not AI. We're real people, and no AI is writing our scripts over here, folks. So that being said, Mr. B-Roll, you want to hit us with that sweet, sweet line?
Yes, indeed-o. I thought about making an AI joke there, but then nothing came to mind. So,
all right. That's all right. AI, your AI couldn't compute at the moment.
Yeah, AI scares me a little bit. Not gonna lie. I'm just saying. I've seen iRobot. I've seen how this ends. So.
Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator. Like. With that being said, at least for the next hour and a half, let's not think about the end of the world and let's talk about wrestling. And I say the clock starts now.
All right, and of course our top story, as B-Roll alluded to, is AEW Wrestle Dream took place this past Saturday in St. Louis, Missouri. And this was a fun show overall. I think it's kind of, I don't think it's, let me rephrase that. I don't think it's a lot of mixed reviews, but I think that there's some. Here's the thing. I was thinking about this. If you compare it to other Wrestle Dreams, I think it's the other Wrestle Dreams are just so damn good. But I think the big thing is like this really kind of progressed a lot of storylines, and in some cases ended some storylines. So this is very a I would say a storyline driven show, but it was still a solid show. It was a good pay per view. I enjoyed it. What do you think of Wrestle Dream?
I would say I most definitely enjoyed it. I get like what you're saying though. Like what? And this is only like the third Wrestle Dream. Is that right?
Yep, third one.
So
Yep.
I mean,
I feel like this one kind of snuck up on us too. It's like I still feel like
yeah,
we're just getting over all out. It's like, oh shit, it's Wrestle Dream time.
yeah, and like you said, it progressed stories. I love that they did the tailgate brawl again. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I loved the arch. The arch was pretty cool.
Oh, the set was pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yep. So, well, let's get right into it. Let's break down Wrestle Dream, and of course, we got to start with talking about the main event. And I think this is why a lot of people are kind of upset, and I get it. I get it. Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, I Quit match. Going into this, I was thinking this should be the main event. I think a lot of us was thinking that as well. The thing of it is, the bar that Jon Moxley and Darby Allin set, because they're just, Darby is like unstoppable. You can't kill him. And Moxley's fucking nuts. He's certifiable. I think everybody was expecting this, dare I say, and I may sound a little crazy here, a little bit
Murder.
more violent. I think
Murder.
people were expecting murder. I think and there was chance of murder. But I think it boils down to the finish of this with the fact that Mox quit to a submission hold. I think a lot of people were upset about that. I wasn't a big fan of that, if I'm quite honest. I would have preferred there to be like something more chaotic, but nonetheless, what to me though forgives all of this is the fact that it's Sting showing up to save Darby Allin. I loved it, man. In our group chat, Hambone was referring to him as Old Man Sting. And I love this look of Sting. Now, I know this is just like a one-off. This isn't, we're going to continue to see Sting. I don't think so, anyway. But I thought it was very important to this story because it's like Darby's been fighting against the Death Riders for months. So it makes sense that the teacher would come back one more time to help his student dethrone the Death Riders. What did you think of the main event of Wrestle Dream?
I'm right there with you. I think everybody, it's the finish that like leaves like a weird taste in everybody's mouth. And
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's not
is it gonna go down as the greatest main event of all time in AW history? No, it's not.
No, far from it.
But I mean, they did tell a story, and
Yeah.
It's got me thinking a lot too, because I feel like, so if I'm thinking all the way back to like Blood and Guts,
Okay.
where Darby basically, he has like Yuta, like he's basically like holding Yuta hostage. Think of it like where Moxley basically gives the verbal like to say that they quit.
Okay.
Like this is kind of like,
that was so long ago. I can't even remember that.
Yeah.
Was that Moxley? I don't think they were in that match.
It was no, it was Moxley.
In Blood
It
and
was
Guts.
Moxley. Yeah, I thought.
No, that was the Elite.
Yeah,
It was the
you're right.
Bucks.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was the. It's
Sorry.
okay. That's how far ago that was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for some reason I thought that was Moxley, and that was my connection. I was like, well, maybe they went with this finish because they wanted it to be different than that finish.
Hmm.
That was my
Yeah,
logic, but apparently I'm way off.
that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I think it's the demons inside your microphone right now or something. It's all good, brother. It just sounds like a demon's farting, but that's cool. We're live, pal. But no, yeah, the thing of it is with Darby, I think there's a story that Mox has been telling. I mean, I don't think there has been. You think about it. Think of it this way. Break it down. So Mox got ultimately Hangman to be propelled to that next level by stepping up and being the face of AEW, the savior of AEW, right? Now you have Darby Allin, who's finally kind of dethroned or defeated all the Death Riders pretty much, or at least maybe not necessarily defeated, but put them in their place. Let's put it that way. So it's like, okay, he's actually Mox has kind of accomplished what he said he was going to do, right? So in a weird way. So I don't know where they go from here with the Death Riders, but I'm not shocked. And if you see something where like Mox leaves for a while and then like Pac steps up kind of as like the leader, or Garcia even, or something like that, and then Mox kind of comes back and like there's a little bit of a dispute between them or something, I don't think all is going to be good and well in the Death Riders camp after this one's what I'm saying. So, but nonetheless, like regardless if you love the main event, hated it, or whatever, it was a fun matchup. It just didn't quite, in my opinion, they didn't quite stick the landing. But that's okay. That doesn't happen all the time. So we got Sting, man. We got Sting. So
though,
I don't care. Like I don't care. Like whatever. We got Sting, so we're good. Well, also at Wrestle Dream, the AEW World Title was on the line with Hangman Adam Page defending against Samoa Joe. Of course, this all stemming from a misunderstanding a couple weeks ago on Dynamite with Joe getting into it with Hangman. So this you knew this was going to be a physical matchup, knowing both these two styles, and it was. Of course, Hangman Adam Page took not one, not two, but three. Oh my God. Why can I not think of his finish? B-roll. Jesus Christ, it's been a long day. Fuck. I don't know. I literally drew a brain fart on there. This is why we love doing live, folks.
That's right. We have
But
Google for this. Just keep talking.
Jesus Christ, I don't know why I can't think. But anyways, to defeat Samoa Joe, and but that wasn't the end of this, because as you get to the end of this, where Hangman and Samoa Joe are in the ring here, you got the ops. They turned on him. They turned on Hangman. They turned heel. Buckshot lariat. Jesus Christ, I don't know why my brain delayed that for like a minute. Sorry, folks. So it took three buckshot lariats to defeat him, but here you see the aftermath. Samoa Joe laying out. I like this personally. Like, I think there was people who were kind of like, well, I thought the match was going to be a little bit longer, or I thought, that was expecting more out of it. And it was an okay matchup. It wasn't bad by any means. Once again, I just think it's like the hype of Wrestle Dream in years past. But like I say, I think at the end of this, it really made up for it with this. I love seeing the ops turning heel. Shibata as a heel is going to be fucking wonderful. Like, if you've never seen Shibata as a heel, like in New Japan, which I don't think he necessarily worked as a heel per se. He was just like, he's Shibata, he's a badass. So, but it's going to be interesting to see him in this role here. And Hobbs is a fun heel as well. And we know what Joe is. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But what do you think of the AEW title match at Wrestle Dream?
I think like you said, I think the best part of it all, the ops turning heel. Because the match was what it was. The ops turning heel, I think that left enough meat on the bone to where we're interested to see what's going to continue to happen going further.
Yeah, and it's going to be far. This feud's far from over. Obviously, Hangman's going to want his blood against not only Joe but Hobbs as well as Shibata. So, but I think this was a well needed heel turn for the Ops. Um, and I think like if you take this out of the equation of this matchup, it is a little bit disappointing. But also you got to keep in mind too, we are grading AEW on such a high curve here. For the fact of the matter is, they just put out, as you kids say, banger after banger after banger. So, but let's talk about the rest of Wrestle Dream, which I'd say the rest of the card was like what made it. It was great, including this matchup here. Tony Storm one-on-one for the first time ever with Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship. I love this matchup. I thought it was great. I love the back and forth with Stat and Tony. I love the build to this. The match was solid. Everything about it was great. And of course, Chris Statlander would successfully retain her AEW Women's World Championship, as she should. What do you think of this one, and what do you think of Statlander so far in her role as the AEW Women's Champion?
Okay, gonna be calm because This was a good match, maybe even a great match, but what happened at the end?
Oh, we're jumping into that, aren't we?
I did not like because it's like what we think about. Like, let's be real. Like, I think of like I hated the her coming out. I didn't I like you could have put anywhere else in the show.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. Now I'm having technical difficulties. Fuck nay. Oh, and now I'm gone. Can you hear me at least?
I can still hear you.
All right. Bear with me, folks, just a minute. B-roll, talk about what happened afterwards here with what happened and went down with Mercedes. Well, I try to fix it.
You had your AEW Women's World Champion. Emphasis on World Champion. After their match, getting ready to, leave the ring, and she gets interrupted by none other than Miss Ultimo Monet.
Bullshit.
And Miss Ultimo Monet, Mercedes Monet, comes out and basically tells her to get out of her ring.
Yeah.
And mind you, she is talking, and I'll say it again, to the world champion.
Yep.
And now let me go on the record. I'm actually probably more of like a Mercedes defender than most. Okay, like I actually like some of the stuff she's been doing. I kind of like the whole belt collecting, but where I draw the line is when it comes to the world champion. That's where I draw the line. That's my line. And it was drawn. And it was crossed. I don't care how good of a match it's going to be between the two of them. At the end of the day,
yeah,
I feel like we all know the end result.
Yeah.
And
I thought for sure, because Mercedes just broke the record for longest TBS champion, and the fact that they were putting this match on later, I thought, okay, somebody big is going to come out and challenge her or something, or return or something, and she's going to drop the belt. That's really what I thought, which that was stupid thinking. I didn't realize that the whole, because keep in mind, this match I don't even think really was announced till the night before, after her Arena Mexico match, which we're going to talk about later. So I thought it was just an open challenge. But I guess it was an open challenge, obviously, for a champion to come down and challenge her and defend their belt for belt. And that's what happened, as we got Mina Shirakawa, the current interim ROH Women's Television Champion. I will say this, because I think a lot of us was kind of like, oh, well, okay, we love Mina, but we were expecting the surprise, so there was kind of that little bit of a, well, that's a bummer. But the match was great itself. Like, it was a solid matchup, and there was times where I really thought Mina was going to pull it out. But of course, Miss Monet would fucking get the win and add another belt. Let me put this into perspective for you, B-roll. The last time we were on the air for PW60, do you realize Mercedes Monet has won 3 fucking belts? Because she literally won a belt last weekend. She won this, and then last night she just won the. I think it was in Canada or something. She won a championship. So I think I've lost fucking track. We're at 13 belts now or something. I think. But here's the thing. All right. Obviously, you know my thoughts. I'm not a huge fan, but the thing of it is, if you really think about this and break it down, these titles that she's winning and holding are like in a bunch of different independent promotions for the most part. And it is getting them some notoriety. You can't deny that, whether you love Mercedes or hate Mercedes. But how this all should work, and how, to me, I'm okay with this, and it's actually kind of genius if this is kind of my thought process. Mercedes should go around. She can keep collecting all the belts she wants. But when you're booking this, you need to make sure that AEW Women's Championship, which is the top prize, is unattainable for her. I think that's the story. Like, she's so famed that she will go around and win all these damn championships, but she can't win the big one. And that's what needs to happen at Full Gear, as she's set to schedule to face Chris Statman. But that's just my 2 cents. But if you think about it, it's kind of like, here's the thing. Mercedes winning all these belts, there's a part of you that, yeah, it is frustrating and stuff, but also think about it, B-roll. She's getting a reaction, you know? And, I mean, that's a good heel. So regardless of how you feel, I mean, it is what it is. So
two things on that to close it out. One, I'm scared they're going to try to tell that story that you're telling. I'm scared they're going to try to tell it too fast. Like, they're going to try to tell that whole story on the way to Full Gear, rather than, like, spacing it out.
Well, I mean, think about it, though. She's already had one title shot against Tony, and she lost. If she gets this, she's getting this title shot. And if she loses to Statlander, that's the second. Because that's how it has to go. Because, I mean, you can't have Statlander lose all 3 to Mercedes. I'm sorry. I don't know. Time was going to tell here, because we're going to find out in about a month what's going to happen. But I think that's more the compelling story. If you put the AEW Women's World Championship on Mercedes, it's kind of like, who fucking cares at this point?
Yeah.
You know?
And then I will end it on a good note.
Okay.
I thought Mercedes gear was absolutely incredible.
Oh, I love the Selena tribute. It was amazing. Couldn't agree with you more there. So, well, this was probably, for me, I think, the match of the night. The AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line. Brodito defending against Kazuchika Okada and Takeshita. And this story being told with Takeshita and Okada, this rivalry within the Don Callis family. And then you have Brodito has literally, Bandito, I should say, has literally been like sacrificing his body week after week as a double champion, a fighting champion. And Brody, my God, what can you say? You can't say enough about Brody. This was just a classic, strong style tag match. To me, like I say, head and shoulders, this was the best match of the night. I love this matchup. And you had Brodito retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship, but that's not the real big story here. The big story here is Bandito, your current Ring of Honor World Champion, as well as one half of the tag champions, pinned Kazuchika Okada clean in the ring. Okada does not get pinned. It's very rare he gets pinned. All right, I think maybe happened in the Continental Classic last year, maybe once or something. Like,
Mm,
Okada doesn't lose. And the fact that Bandito got a win on him, that's fucking huge. And Bandito, I've said it on this show before. He is in that top contention for wrestler of the year. He very well be the wrestler of the year. He's had that good of a year. And now, because of this win, Bandito has a shot at the unified title this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite against Okada in a one-on-one matchup. Man, oh man, crazy. But tell me, you're the tag team guy. You love your tag team wrestling. Tell me
yep,
what you thought about this matchup.
I would agree with you. This was probably my favorite match from the show. I look at this match and what we got with it. I look at it as kind of like a five-course meal here.
Mm.
So we had this, this newer tag team that everybody loves out there, and then you had the story of Okada and Takeshita, and then you have Brody, who's a beautiful man, and then you throw in the fact that this was tag team wrestling, and you throw in the fact that Brodito retained here, and you had Okada get pinned for like the first time in like forever. Um, yeah, the only thing that would have made this match better if it was sponsored by Taco Bell, the Brodito Burrito.
You're still pushing for that.
Still pushing for that, but no, seriously, this was a great match.
Yeah.
Shadow loved it too.
Shadow loved it too. Yeah, I can tell. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. This matchup was incredible, and it's like there were some good, fun, solid matches, but to me, like I say, head and shoulders, this was the match of the night of Wrestle Dream for sure. But man, there was some other great matchups, including this one here. We got to talk about the TNT title was on the line. It was the 5th match in the series between Mark Briscoe challenging the Protostar Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title. Of course, they were split the series 2-2. Anytime these two get together is awesome. But I think even Tony Khan said it best in the presser after this, the media scrum, that this was probably the best matchup they've had so far. And I think I would agree with that. A lot of back and forth action, man. And there was times, man, where I thought, holy shit, Briscoe's going to do it. But Kyle Fletcher would come through and he would retain his TNT title in an incredible matchup. What did you think of the TNT title match from Wrestle Dream?
I love me some Kyle Fletcher and some Mark Briscoe.
Oh, yeah.
It is hard to believe that this is the 5th time they they have met, but because it feels like it's been such a short time frame, but yeah, this is probably their best one, and that's saying something because they've had some doozies, but like they're just both just so relentless and
Yeah.
resilient. So it's just, and man, Kyle Fletcher, he's so good.
It's Protostar, baby.
Yep.
Future world champion, no doubt about it. But yes, Kyle Fletcher does retain in an incredible matchup. Be interesting to see who's next in line for Kyle Fletcher, and where does Mark Briscoe and the conglomeration go from here. So this was a fun matchup too. Another great tag team matchup on the Wrestle Dream card. The Jurassic Express going up against the Young Bucks, renewing an old rivalry. Of course, we know the story. Jungle Jack Perry returning about a month ago, and we found out he was the one who rejuvenated Luchasaurus. But this match also was for 500,000 smackaroonies. Yes, this is a 500K matchup as the Bucks were desperately trying to get that Skrilla because the Bucks are what was it, 37.97 I think was in their bank account as they said at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. Which, by the way, the entrances of the Bucks was great. Hambone mentioned this in our group chat, and we were talking about this the other night. It's like the Young Bucks, what they're doing right now. It's like you almost feel like you should be tired of them, but it's like you love it. I love it. I personally, it's a guilty pleasure. I love what the Young Bucks are doing. Like with all these entrances and the story they're telling and stuff. It to me, it's awesome, man. And I know Shadow likes it too.
Yeah, she does.
But Jurassic Express picking up a big win against the Young Bucks. Once again, you're the tag team guy. You love your tag team wrestling. What'd you think of this matchup?
So not as good as the other, but still a really good match, and I think kind of like you like the I mean the Bucks entrance just had me like kind of hooked from the beginning. Um, I still am not completely sold on the whole Jurassic Express being back together and Jungle Boy and but
Yeah, it
that's
is
just
kind of
me.
weird, isn't it? Like, I think no, I buy into them being together, but I think it's just hard for us to buy into Jungle Jack Perry, not Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I don't know, and he comes out with the fucking knife and shit. I think we just gotta adjust and kind of get used to it because a lot of us, myself included, love the scapegoat. I loved what he was doing with the scapegoat
Yeah,
character. So I don't know. Like I like them back together. I mean, they weren't really doing anything else. Let's just let them cook. Let's see what happens with this. But the big win. Of course, at the end of this, the Don Callis family kind of inserted themselves and attacked the Jurassic Express. And then Kenny, by God, Omega would come out and make the save, and Kenny kind of talking to the Bucks. It looked like the Bucks were kind of hesitating, thinking about maybe saving the day and being doing the right thing, but they did not at the end of the day. So their journey still continues if they're going to get become good again, if you will. But solid matchup, man. Nonetheless, great. The tag team division right now, I'm really digging it in AEW. And speaking of which, let's talk about this matchup: the Hurt Syndicate against. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I'm sorry. I apologize, folks. My brain is drawing like farts. The demand, the
the
demand.
demand.
I wanted to call them Dominion for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, I digress. Against Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Honestly, going into this one, I was like, I didn't hate it. I was just kind of like, okay, we're doing this again. I'm not like super infested, but I mean, I'll check it out. It was a solid matchup. It was a solid matchup. I will say, but I think we need to move on from here. Don't you think with
I
this
agree.
rivalry?
I agree. So does Shadow
We
apparently.
are just having all sorts of issues tonight. We apologize because we fucking love doing live, don't we? It's just our favorite goddamn thing in the entire fucking world, let me tell you. Because we never have technical issues. There we go. Anyways, yeah, I think, and now of course we know the Hurt Syndicate is the number one contenders for the Trios Championship, which that's going to be interesting to see them against the Ops, especially newly heel turned Ops. Going against the Hurt Syndicate will be interesting, and we'll see what happens there. I don't know what's going to happen here now with the demand, but I do like the pairing of Gates of Agony with Ricochet. I will say, and I'm a huge fan of the Gates of Agony. I think you've got a lot of potential there, future World Tag Team Champions. So, like I say, I'm kind of like this was a fun matchup, but I think I don't want to see it again anytime soon. Let me put it that way. I tell you what, I can't get behind seeing anytime soon. Love this one. Tekla 1-on-1 against Jamie Hayter in a grudge matchup. Of course, this has been building for a long time. Remember Jamie Hayter? Oh, we love technical difficulties. I know you can hear me, folks. So let me try this again. All right, I apologize again. It is what it is. We're live, pals. No, great matchup. Solid matchup. God damn it. You gotta love it, folks. No, great. Like I say, I enjoyed. Bear with me just a moment as I try to fix my camera issues here. And once again, I do apologize. Solid matchup. Really have enjoyed the work that Tekla has done. I think Tekla has really been booked quite well since she made her debut in All Elite Wrestling. And hopefully, and I apologize again, we are having some technical issues at the moment. We're going to get there. We go. Okay. And I think we're back. Backstreet's back. All right. What a piece of shit. This is gonna be one of them shows. Anyways, once again, I do apologize. No, I've enjoyed how Tekla's been booked so far. I think Tekla, from the get go, has been very interesting to watch. I love the group she has, the Triangle of Terror with Sky Blue and Julia Hart. I am very intrigued by that to see where that's going and to see what's going to happen at Blood and Guts, because we know that's what is on horizon here. Is Blood and Guts is what is next. But a lot of great back and forth here. Of course, Jamie Hayter picking up the win against Tekla, but like I say, they're far from over. Also going into this one too, keep in mind everybody was banned from ringside. Also, speaking of ringside, one thing I loved about Wrestle Dream is how they played homage to Luthez, as Luthez's wife was there. And it was really fun just seeing the Tekla going for the handshake and then kind of dissing Luthez's wife. So classic heel stuff. But originally this was supposed to be the opener of Wrestle Dream. However, this was kind of interesting. Never seen this done before. The tailgate. Beforehand, you had FTR against Jet Speed, which started there on the tailgate brawl, but the match went over and they ended up literally the pay-per-view opens, pyro goes off, and FTR and Jet Speed are in the ring having a tremendous matchup. So technically this was the opening matchup of Wrestle Dream, which once again, another solid tag team matchup in a solid tag team division. Of course, the X factor would be that damn Stokely Hathaway, as FTR would pick up the win. But like I say, I love how they did this. I thought it was really cool and creative. What'd you think? Great to have you back, B-Roll.
Yes.
But what did you think of the FTR Jet Speed matchup and how they did this, going from the pre-show or from the tailgate brawl into the pay-per-view?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I love me some FTR. I love some tag team wrestling. I love me some speedball.
Mm-hmm.
And I do gotta say, like, I really haven't put like that much thought into it, but like when we list all these tag teams, they quietly have built themselves a quite nice little like new fresh tag division.
Yeah.
But personally, like I like the kind of run into the pay-per-view. Like I think that was a good. I don't know if
you
you'd
don't have
call
to
it
do it
a
every
hook,
time, but when they did it
but
this time, it was cool. Like it's
yeah,
cool, like for every now and then, I think. But I don't think I'd do it every show.
right, definitely. But yeah, it worked. It worked for this
Yeah.
show.
That was solid. Speaking of the tailgate brawl, let's talk about that one, which was a loaded tailgate brawl. Of course, kicking it off with the conglomeration going up against the Death Riders in a big 8-man tag. Of course, the Death Riders would pick up the win there. You also had Eddie Kingston and Hook in action against the Pratt House. If I'm being blunt, I really don't like the Eddie Kingston Hook team. I think it takes away from Eddie. Like, I mean, Eddie can do anything,
I don't either.
but I rather see him do something else than be with Hook. Like, I feel like maybe this is a hot take. XLJ's hot take of the week. I don't think, to me, Hook, Hook, I don't get. I don't get it. I don't think it's going to work. I think he's had multiple chances. They've put him in multiple things, and it doesn't work. I love Taz. I respect Taz, man, but I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of Hook.
I don't get the need to always pair him with somebody. Either.
Yeah, and I think it's because they know like he needs somebody because he can't. I don't think he can really. I don't feel like he's connecting with a certain audience. There's no doubt about that. And this is me showing my fucking age, but I think he definitely identifies with that like teens to early 20s audience.
I mean, honestly, he was fine when he just like never talked.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed everything at first with him, but I feel like we've kind of tried to put different coats of paint on Hook, and it's just the same thing. And it's like, I love Eddie Kingston. I'm sorry, but no, it's not working. I don't want to see it. I need to see Eddie. I need to see Eddie in the main event scene. I need Eddie Kingston to win that world title, damn it. That's what I want to see. But rounding out action on the tailgate brawl, you had a big women's tag team matchup with Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale getting a huge win against Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. And by the way,
I thought that was Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, yes, yeah. Kudos to them on the ensembles. Of course, you could put them in just about anything; they're going to look gorgeous. But what I thought was interesting is like on social media, there was a promo with Penelope and Megan Bain cut, and they were like, "Yeah, go ahead and have your win because at the end of the day, we're going to get our blood and guts." So there you go. I think we know pretty much. You got Penelope and Megan Bain will probably be teaming up with Julia Hart and Sky Blue, and of course Tekla. But who's going to be on the other side? I don't know. We'll find out here in the coming weeks on Dynamite. But overall, Wrestle Dream was a fun show. That's the best thing I can say is it was a fun show. Because thing of it is when AEW does pay per view, you know it's going to be awesome no matter what, and that's what this was. It was a fun, solid show. And like I say, a lot of stuff coming out of this. I'm excited to see where we go from here. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with the Ops and Hangman. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But big week in the world of pro wrestling because we got another huge show we got to talk about, man. This was huge. New Japan Pro Wrestling's King of Pro Wrestling took place this past Monday. And this show, man, like it's crazy. This show just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. I swear when they first was doing it, I didn't think it consider it like one of the bigger shows, but it really is and has grown into that. And of course, the big one, the main event, Takeshita, your G1 Climax winner, going against Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP Championship. This was a tremendous back and forth matchup, a classic strong style matchup. I think this one went close to 35 minutes. But, ladies and gentlemen, history was made. Takeshita is your new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Of course, he's our Wrestler of the Week this week on PW60. But B-roll, this is massive. This has never happened in the history of pro wrestling where you have a pro wrestler in Takeshita who is contracted to 3 different companies with New Japan, with DDT, and of course with AEW. Like Takeshita is doing things that is unheard of, that we've never seen before in any company. He is another person who is easily in that talks for Wrestler of the Year. Because I don't think anybody saw him winning the G1 Climax, and nobody saw him winning this title, I don't think. But once again, now he is the IWGP champion, the Alpha, proving his worth. I am so happy and excited about this. You know I love Takeshita, but I think this is just it's such the right thing to do. What do you think of Takeshita winning the IWGP title from Zack Sabre Jr.?
Like you said, it was the right thing to do. And we've talked about this for a while, like in such a weird spot with New Japan, right?
Yes.
Because you have and we've probably talked about this for over a year or more. Because like all of your established stars are gone, and like you're having to create new stars, and I think using Takeshita is absolutely brilliant, because it just works. It works for all parties involved. Like no one is getting hurt by him holding that belt.
No.
And I think you said this best in our group chat. You hate that belt, but man, it looks mighty nice on him.
Yeah, the belt looks ugly, but yeah, it does look pretty damn good on Takeshita, that's for sure. So I think this is long over. I think this is him being a world champion is long overdue. I'm happy it's the IWGP title he's captured. I think he can do a lot of things for New Japan and wrestling in general. Especially, it's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, in AEW, I feel like we're going towards this Okada role, or this Okada matchup, I should say. On top of that, it's the busiest time of year for New Japan. It is Wrestle Kingdom season, essentially. And there's a lot of different, and, you know, he's the G1 winner, so obviously, you know, it's going to be like last year where the G1 winner didn't challenge because they had already won the belt. So that being said, it makes the question, what in the hell is going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom? Because one of the challengers is going to be off the table because Hiroki Goto will come out at the end of the night, who had just, keep in mind, Goto returned earlier in the night in a big trios matchup, and pretty much challenged Takeshita for the IWGP Championship. But the catch of this matchup is going to happen before the Tokyo Dome. So, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but very interesting because I thought this would for sure be one of the matchups possibly for Tokyo Dome. I think there's a lot of different ways they can go. I have a theory of how I would book it, but I also could see it going another way. But that's a story for another time. So, but nonetheless, congratulations to Takeshita, your new IWGP champion. But man, oh man, like I say, this card was loaded. A lot happened on here. A lot of new champions, including this. Yota Tsuji would defeat Gabe Kidd to win the Global Championship back. Of course, remember Gabe Kidd had dethroned Yota Tsuji earlier this year for that title. But Tsuji would get his win back in this incredible rivalry between those two. Tremendous matchup, man. This was another one, was a solid matchup. This card was full of like great matches. And this is definitely one of them. But I think what everybody's talking about is at the end of this B-roll is you have this new alliance between the Bullet Club War Dogs and the unaffiliated. Of course, unaffiliated, the former Los Ingobernables de Japón. And they've kind of been going at it back and forth here. But now they have made this new alliance, which is weird. They're not necessarily a group or a faction together. They're just going to work side by side with each other. Very interesting. I don't know if I've seen that before in New Japan or hell any other promotion, to be quite honest with you. But you've got a lot of other factions out there that in the scope of New Japan Pro Wrestling, where it would make sense for this alliance to form. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks.
I'll say this: alliances were meant to be broken.
Oh yeah, it's gonna break at some point. But I hate talking about this. It's House of Torture related. So Evil has defeated Bolton Oleg. He defeated him at King of Pro Wrestling to win the Never Open Weight Championship. And as if you could only imagine, there was a lot of bullshit fuckery in this one. So I think I will say this: I've always thought Evil's a great competitor, but fuck House of Torture. That's my stance. So now they've got some more gold to add to their faction. But this right here, to me, this was the cherry on top. This was the opener of this show, and I gotta say, this is probably one of the best openers I've seen on a New Japan show in a long ass time. You had Suri defend the IWGP Women's Champion against Suri. Of course, an incredible rivalry between these young ladies. Of course, the title had changed hand earlier this year, but you had Suri would win back her IWGP Women's Championship and thus becoming the first ever two-time IWGP Women's Championship. But this was a classic Joshi matchup. Just it comes out from the gate. It's like balls to the wall. They're just beating the holy hell out of each other. Tremendous matchup. And as great as this show was, honestly, this was the match of the night by far. And not only that, it's our match of the week here on PW60. If you go back and watch the replay of this show, it's worth it just for this match alone. An incredible, I think it was like a 15-minute opener or something, man. But they like I say, they don't waste any time. They get right to the action. It was incredible. Absolutely loved it. And I hope they run it back again. I could see some more of this anytime. I am all for it. Well, we also have another new champion in the ranks of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and this happened before. Actually earlier in the week, I should say, or last week, Doki would win back the IWGP Junior Championship, defeating Desperado. And of course, yes, Doki now in House of Torture. What the fuck? So House of Torture's got another belt. Yay. I do like Doki, though. I think It was unfortunate what happened to him a couple years ago there at the Tokyo Dome where he got seriously hurt. So I hope he has a long reign. That shows you how good this guy is. If he's in House of Torture, and I'm hoping he has a long reign. I'm just saying. So, love Doki. Fuck House of Torture. Now this was an interesting moment from earlier this week as well. At the end of the Never Openweight Championship, with Evil defeating or winning the IWGP Never Open title, you had this newcomer come out, Aaron Wolf. Now, if you're not familiar with Aaron Wolf is a, I think judo, I believe is what he won gold medals in. But he's a very serious athlete. And we now know the first matchup that will take place January 4th in the Tokyo Dome. In his debut New Japan matchup, Aaron Wolf will challenge Evil for the Never Openweight Championship. So hopefully Aaron Wolf just beats that ass, as I'm sure he will. But at least this is something, I guess, to look forward to, because once again, fuck House of Torture, except for Doki. I like Doki. But King of Pro Wrestling, man, was a solid show. But as we move on in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling, up next we have the Super Junior Tag League Tournament. And it's very interesting to note because you have this newfound alliance, as we mentioned earlier, and you got some really weird teams in this one. Like, I'm looking at you, Hiromu Takahashi and Geto as a tag team. So let's write it down here. A block's going to consist of House of Tortures, Doki, and Sho, who are your current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions, of course, as well as Doki, your current IWGP Junior Champion. You have Yo and Master Wato, the United Empire's Templawero and Jacob Austin Young, Clark Connors teaming with Daki Nagai, and the Skateboard Brothers of Rasuke Taguchi and Dragon Dio. That will round out your A block. Now, in the B block, you have got the War Dogs, Taiji Ishimori and Robbie X, El Desperado teaming up with Kukai. You have Kashido and Yuka Yoshihiko, House of Tortures, Kanamura and Dick Togo, Tiger Mask and Yamato, and the Ichiban Sweet Boys, Robbie Eagles and Kozi Fujita. So, always the tag leagues are fun, but the junior ones are really fun. So, of course, this kicks off this upcoming Wednesday, I believe, on the 23rd. So we'll have some more updates on the rankings in the coming weeks here on PW60. And we mentioned earlier that this matchup for the IWGP Championship will be taking place before Wrestle Kingdom. It just so happens this matchup will be taking place on November the 2nd at Tanahashi's final homecoming. So the Goto challenging for the championship. I mean, I can't see Takeshita losing in his first title defense, but anything can happen, folks, because this is Wrestle Kingdom season. So who knows what's going to happen? But also on this show, of course, this is the Tanahashi's farewell. We're getting down to the wire here, and we know on this show, Tanahashi will be challenging for the Global Championship against Yota Tsuji. This is going to be a fun, interesting one, to say the least. But that'll be coming November the 2nd, which will be here before you know it, my friend. And of course, we will have all the results here on Pro Wrestling 60. Of course, a real hot story this week in the world of wrestling. We got to talk about this. Andrade, soon as he made his AEW debut, or return, we should say, immediately yanked. So we now found out why. Because there's a bunch of fucking confusion, because nobody in a certain company apparently related all this information to Andrade. Imagine that. Because they probably don't even fucking know about it. But so Andrade was let go from the WWE, right? He was fired, essentially. And typically with wrestlers, usually when they are, their contract runs out, they have a 90-day non-compete. But however, with Andrade being fired, the thought process was that was null and void. Well, apparently not. Apparently, because once WWE found out that he made his debut or his return to AEW, They instantaneously sent a cease and desist, pretty much. And now we're not sure how long it's going to be because you're hearing different things. You're still hearing the 90 days, but there's also talks because he was fired that he could potentially be up to 1 year. He cannot compete with. I cannot fucking see that. I guess that's some bullshit clause they have in the WWE contracts now. If I was fucking a talent and saw that shit, I don't care. I would be like, fuck that. I don't care what they're paying. I don't care who the fuck they are. I don't care like how fucking high and mighty, whatever. I don't give a shit. I would not sign that contract. And here's the thing. If you really look into it, like the whole non-compete shit, like and I think we even talked about this on this show about a year ago or something. I mean, that shit went away pretty much in like all industries. However, look at the current landscape we're in. We're in Cheeto Man's world, and well, a bunch of stupid fuckery can happen, and that's what this is. I'm just like fucking ridiculous. Not shocked in the least bit. Just fucking dumb. But one has to ask the question: if Andrade is out for a year, what the hell is he gonna do, B-roll? Well, lucky for us, our good friend, the Best Scout Machine, has some thoughts on this. So let's go to the Best Scout Machine with this special report.
P-Dub City, it was a kick to the nuts this week when we found out that Andrade is going to be held up by the WWE for a full year. He will not be able to wrestle for a full year or get paid. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy going to do for a whole year? He can't work. He can't compete. What is he going to do? Well, I got some suggestions on what Andrade should do for the next year. 365 days, baby. My first suggestion is to just start slow, maybe work on some puzzles with the family. Maybe, kick back, relax those muscles, reflect, go fishing. But if you want to wrestle hard enough, you want to go back, so bad, just put on a mask and be Curry Man. Hell, let's be a little adventurous right now. Maybe he can stop the Decepticons. Maybe he could gather up a bunch of teenagers with attitude and summon swords and make them become the Power Rangers. This is getting a little sweaty here. Maybe he could go trick-or-treating. You can see the hair. Maybe he could discover other talents deep down in him. Maybe Andrade El Idolo could possibly learn to play piano. Or maybe he could be in shampoo commercials. Sorry. Maybe he could be in shampoo commercials. Whatever Andrade El Idolo has planned, he will kick maximum ass. And he will spend this next year building himself up to be the world champion he knows he could be. Smells like lavender.
I can only imagine. Well, thank you so much, Best Scout. I think those are all viable options for Andrade. So we'll see what happens with him. Let's talk about Dynamite from this past week. Of course, this was the go-home show for Wrestle Dream. Kicked it off with a wonderful interview segment with Tony Storm and Chris Statlander. I love how it ended, and they went to the ring pretty much, and they kind of threw the belt at each other to use. It was just great storytelling. I loved it, and like I say, loved the matchup from Wrestle Dream. You had, of course, that. Speaking of crazy segments, what about the Mox and Darby segment? And they were like in the prison or whatever, and oh man, that was so good. Absolutely freaking loved it.
The one thing with a Darby feud that you're gonna get, you're gonna get at least one really cinematic, really good segment.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Claudio Castagnoli in action against Roderick Strong was a badass matchup. Of course, you had Kenny Omega teaming up with Jurassic Express to take on the damn Don Callis family. Love Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue was a solid matchup too. And of course, in the main event, you had the Ops retain the Trios Championship against LFI. But interesting enough with this week, of course, we went right into Collision immediately afterwards that followed, of course, with Wrestle Dream being this past Saturday. And Collision kicked off solid too, as you had the Death Riders in action against the conglomerations Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy. And then, of course, Darby coming out to kind of get his revenge. I love the matchup with Megan Bain and Harley Cameron was awesome too. And then, of course, in the main event, you had the Don Callis family against Mark Briscoe and Bro Dito in a solid trios matchup. Great go home shows all this week for AEW. I want to talk about this here. This is available now on their YouTube channel. Is AEW Stories: The Good, the Bad, and the Hangman, a documentary on Hangman Adam Page. It's a really solid documentary, man. I loved it. It's about 30 minutes. You can catch it on their YouTube channel, and it's cool because it's like really captures everything kind of that happened with Hangman going into all in earlier this year. Great documentary. It's available now, like we say, on their YouTube channel. Go check it out. AEW Stories: The Good, the Bad, and the Hangman. What a great title too. Man, this was a bummer, dude. So over a week ago, Kota Ibushi got seriously hurt in a matchup against Josh Alexander on Collision. Doctors are saying, listen to this, it's crazy. They say he could be out for at least 2 years. And this is heartbreaking because Ibushi's kind of came back from injury after injury, but now it's going to be like out for the longest period of time. I hate to say it, B-Roll. I hate to say it, but do you think maybe this is kind of like, okay, maybe it's time to call it a day for Kota Ibushi?
It might be.
I hate saying that out loud, but he's had a great career.
Yeah. We need to be grateful that we even got him back in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But like, greedy wrestling fan you don't want it to be the end, but
yeah.
Bottom line is health is most important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I hope he doesn't rush anything. Like, if the docs really say he needs 2 years off, then he needs 2 years. I think I will say this: if he comes back, I think this is like the straw where it's like you've got to change your style. I don't think he can continue working that strong style and maintain his health, honestly. And this was like a freak accident that happened, but you hate to see it, man, because I love Ibushi, man. So we wish him well, and we hope, like I say, he gets healthy really soon. So, but don't rush coming back. And if, like I say, if you decide that's it to hang it up, then totally, respect the hell out of that. I mean, he's had a stellar career. You can't deny that. Well, let's talk about Ring of Honor on Honor Club this past week. How about this one? Kicking it off, Sydney Akeem going up against Alex Sane, which it's been a minute since we've seen Sydney. So especially great to see him in Ring of Honor. And how about this new trios team of Isla Dawn teaming up with the Grizzled Young Veterans as they were in action? Of course, looks like they may be on a collision course with the premier athletes now. Also, you had Deonna Purrazzo, I know your girl, calling out Trisha Adora. And Diamante was in action as well on the show. And Blake Christian against Shannon Moore. Yes, I said that right. Shannon Moore. The Shannon Moore. Oh, you old heads like me, you remember Shannon Moore back from 3 Count and WCW's days. And then he went through that weird punk phase and like TNA and WWE, CW and stuff. Yeah, that's Shannon Moore. So, interesting to see. But like we say each week, Ring of Honor has been quietly, I think, sneaking up on people. It's been very interesting to see. And there was some interesting matchups this past week on the Honor Club. Well, we got to talk about this bullshit. Okay. The AI stuff with wrestling, especially right now, is this shit's getting out of control. This is getting stupid, folks. It was kind of comical at first, I will admit, but now it's like, I don't I don't need to see Martin Luther King cutting promos in the Attitude Era turning heel. It's like, what the fuck, man? And then
Yeah, like these two pictures are tame compared to like what's out there.
fucking Mr. Rogers going all heel and like shit. Then you got Stephen Hawkins, for Christ's sakes, and Bob Ross and the Biggie against Tupac shit. It's just fucking stupid, man, and it looks bad. It's just dumb. Like, cut the shit out. It's getting fucking ridiculous. And now you're hearing talks about AI potential being used to help with like further storylines and shit. It's like, Jesus Christ, really? When's this shit coming up? And you know what? I'm not the only one who's got these strong feelings on AI. Let's go to our good friend Husky Rhodes with a hot take. Or did I say Joe with a hot take?
Yo, it is your boy, the artist formerly known as Husky Rhodes. Let's talk about AI in general. It is going to be the downfall of our civilization. I firmly believe it. Generative AI is just fucking gross, dude. Like, I don't know if it's just me. There's probably a lot of people that agree with me on this. I'm so tired of seeing these goofy fucking Sora AI videos. Like, they all look fucking terrible. Like, there's no creativity at all because some window-licking mouth breather had a random thought of, oh, wouldn't it be funny to watch the Queen of England and Hulk Hogan wrestle in a Hell in a Cell match? No, dude, we don't want to see that shit. Get the fuck out of here. This is like a much worse version of when recording software for musicians became like cheaper and easier to access because it got in the hands of a bunch of untalented fucking morons putting out trash. This is even worse than that. And to tie it back into the wrestling world, WWE is using a large language model to write storylines now, apparently. It makes fucking sense knowing who Triple H's mother-in-law is. It makes perfect fucking sense. Everything is terrible. Welcome to hell.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Like, seriously, with just fucking, how about this? How about this? Hear me out. Hear me out. I know this is bold. How about having an original fucking thought? Oh my God. Oh, wow. What? But that's the fucking problem with the state and age we live in. And Jesus Christ, this is a show about pro wrestling. I don't want to go on a tangent and a rant because my blood's gonna boil, and like, it's just fucking, just original thoughts, folks. Original fucking thoughts. Okay, you don't need to rely on this horse shit. Okay, Jesus Christ, get the fuck with it. He's right. We're in hell. Well, let's talk about this though, in a more positive light. All month in CMLL, they are putting a focus on women's wrestling. And this past Friday in Arena, Mexico, they had a very big show. Of course, in the main event, Mercedes Moné would defend the CMLL Women's Championship against Persephone, and she would retain. Is what it is. Great matchup, though.
Gonna be otherwise.
I really thought so, too. I thought for sure Persephone was going to win, but obviously that did not happen. But also coming out of this in a big matchup, India Seo would defeat Scadia to win the CMLL Women's Universal Championship tournament. So big win for her. And this upcoming Friday, they got another big show as their Amazon's Grand Prix will be taking place with over 16 women competitors, not only from Mexico, but throughout the world. So we'll be reporting on that next week here on PW60. But let's talk about some more wrestling throughout the world. And let's talk about Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling had their additional attack show this past week. And the big one coming out of this one in the main event, you had the Princess of Princess title on the line with Miyu Watanabe successfully retaining against Yuka Aino. Also, you had the Princess Tag Team titles were up for grabs, as well as our favorite team, Uber Eats, would successfully retain against Toga and Yuna Masia. And a lot of titles on the line in this one, including the International Princess title, was also up for grabs with Arusi Indo successfully retaining against Alice Crawley. Big Al, big shout out to her. I mean, she has I think this was her first real tour over in Japan, as far as I know. Of course, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling Women's Champion, as well as she's done a lot of work throughout the Midwest. Shout out to our buddy Ethan and oh my God, Jesus, this is the night where I just can't fucking thank B-Roll. But for his promotion, is it Define Pro Wrestling? Yeah. So former champion there too, I believe. So. But of course, you can catch a replay of this over on Wrestle Universe, as well as you can catch a replay of this too. As we got to talk about Marigold's Battle Heart took place this past week as well. Now the big one coming out of this one was apparently this was Mirai. I'm sorry, the last matchup in Marigold. So I'm not sure. I don't think she's necessarily retiring, as far as I could tell. But this was her last matchup there. But you had a solid card on this one too. You can check out the replay over on Wrestle Universe. And speaking of Marigold, man, we got to talk about this. Their big Destiny pay-per-view is coming up this Sunday. Of course, now this is the big show where you have the dream matchup. Io Sky and Mayo Iwatani, 1-on-1. Cannot wait to see that, as well as all the other matches on this show, championships on the line. It's going to be an amazing show. It's this upcoming Sunday. And, of course, we will have the results of this coming to you next week here on PW60. Also, speaking of Wrestle Universe, you can catch a replay of Noah's Star Navigation show, which took place this past week. And I tell you, the big story coming out of this one, B-Roll, is we have a new GHC national champion, as Galino was defeated by Dragon Bane. So Dragon Bane is your new GHC national champion. Also, I tell you, a tremendous matchup too on this one. About a dream matchup. Kaito Kiyomiya 1-on-1 against Charlie Dempsey from NXT. Tremendous matchup there. Of course, Kaito Kiyomiya would pick up the win there. Also, you had Hiromu Takahashi was in action defeating Junta Miyaka. Solid show, man. Go catch a replay of this as well over on Wrestle Universe. Speaking of other amazing shows, we can finally talk about this one. Prestige Wrestling's Roseland 12. Of course, now this took place a couple weeks ago, but we didn't want to spoil anything, as it officially is now on YouTube. So you can go catch a replay of this. And, dude, this was a freaking loaded show, man. Like, a lot of big stories coming out of this one, but the big one by far, folks, we have a new Prestige World Champion, as Kevin Blackwood would defeat Judas Icarus in a classic matchup. It was a very solid showing. Of course, now Kevin Blackwood is the Prestige champion. It's going to be very interesting to see if Judas Icarus can get that championship back. Because keep in mind, we've only got, 3 more shows, I think, from Prestige? But also some other tremendous matchups on this card. Shayna Baszler in action against Danny Luna. Of course, Shayna picking up a big win there. Nicole Matthews would retain her championship against Amira on this show as well. And also you had a Prestige #1 contender tag team turmoil matchup. with the Hammer Brothers, Jack and Sledgehammer picking up a big win. So they will be next in line for the Prestige Tag Team titles. Speaking of those tag titles, the Midnight Heat would successfully retain against the Good Brothers and what may be the biggest win of their careers so far. Speaking of big wins, how about this one? Matt Brannigan would defeat the very nice and very evil Danhausen. Big matchup there. But like I say, you can catch a replay of this over on Prestige's YouTube channel. It's a solid show. And for free, man, you can't beat it. You got to check out Roseland 12. But speaking of Prestige, they have officially announced their last card, which will be taking place, I believe it's February, but it's Roseland 13 will be the last show for Prestige Pro Wrestling, at least as they are on this temporary hiatus, which we don't know how long that hiatus will be. But this show is going to be freaking loaded. As great as we just talked about with 12-13 is going to be must-see TV, man. And I hope this actually will be like on their YouTube channel live and stuff. Even if it's like a pay-per-view, I would totally pay for this because this is going to be a solid-ass show, you know it. So, well, it's that time of the show. Let's go to our good friend Spicy Guac with a spicy take.
Spicy Guac, reminding you that what goes around does really, in fact, come around. So I would say watch what you say. But I've said some pretty terrible things, like the fact that Vince Russo can suck toes. He probably does, in fact, suck toes. He seems like the kind of person that sniffs armpits and sucks toes and says bro the entire time. Like, bro, this is so wicked fucking hot.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, we got some exciting cards to look forward to here in the world of pro wrestling. Of course, first up, we got to talk about Game Changer Wrestling House of Horrors presented by Shotzi Blackheart, which will be taking place this Friday. And we've already spun the wheel and made some deals on it's going to be some tremendous matchups. I don't know what a Doorway to Hell match is, but I'm sure it's going to involve a lot of fuckery. As Matt Fremont will defend the Ultraviolet Championship against Joshua Bishop. Also, Shotzi Blackheart and Emerson James will be a trick-or-treat street fight. But this is a big one. This rivalry's been brewing here for the past couple months. Atticus Cogar and Charles Manson in a casket match. That's going to be fucking nuts. But all that takes place this Friday. Of course, you can catch this over on Triller TV. And we'll be talking about the results of this next week here on PW60. Another big show this weekend. We're going to talk about this. Defy Wrestling's back at it with their Wrath show. This is huge because John Moxley will be making a very special appearance on this show. He will be in action. Of course, all the other stars from Defy, including your Defy champion, the Outlaw, Brian, Jesus Christ, B-roll.
Keith.
Brian Keith. I don't know why I'm fucking up names tonight. I apologize, folks. It's been a week. But he will be in action as well on this show. So we'll talk about the results of this show as well as this one too. Progress Wrestling's next chapter, Jump in the Line, will be taking place this upcoming Sunday. Of course, you got Man Like Darius will be in action. I believe he's defending the championship, the Progress Championships against Leo Rush, if I remember correctly. So that'll be an interesting one. But we will have the results of this, of course, next week as well here on PW60. But if you want to catch this, it will be over on Triller TV. Which remember, you can get so much amazing stuff on Triller TV, and remember, they're not paying us a goddamn thing, but they will someday. This was huge news coming out of House of Glory. They will be making their Los Angeles debut at the beginning of January. So going to on the West Coast for the first time. It'll be very interesting to see what they've got to do because they put on some solid shows for the most part, other than some wonky finishes. But hopefully they will be bringing it to LA because LA is easily one of the premier wrestling towns in all professional wrestling. Now, this is pretty cool, man. I'm going to talk about this. In Calgary, Alberta, Canada, this past week, the city of Calgary announced Stu Hart Memorial Bridge. Of course, Stu Hart from Calgary, goes to Hart family from there. infamous for the Stampede Wrestling coming out of Calgary. So I think it's well deserved that the late great Stu Hart, the patriarch of the Hart family, should definitely have a memorial bridge named after him. He should have like schools named after him, hospitals. He's Stu freaking Hart, man. It's Hart family. Come on, man. Come on. This was pretty cool news, and this is in our neck of the woods. Ruby Soho and her husband Angelo Parker opened up their own coffee shop / game cafe called Victory Roll, and this is actually in Meshawa, Indiana, which is a couple hours from us. So road trip.
Yeah, I think.
I think you could be seeing a future Huckleberry
Now,
from
where did you say it was?
Meshawa.
Mishawaka?
Mishawaka. Is it? Yeah, Mishawaka. What? Well, it's something in between there.
Is that really where it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. My parents literally were just there, like in
No shit.
Mishawaka.
No shit. Well, there you go. Yeah. So, well, like I say, we'll probably be going there here in the near future for a future Huckleberry episode. This is kind of wrestling related. So I don't know if anybody follows this guy or follow them. Gizmo619, a popular wrestling figure collector. Well, he got busted this week. He'd been arrested as part of like a huge freaking apparently, I guess, a bust, because I guess his whole collection for the most part had practically been like stolen. Like, and I mean, this looks like a freaking Matt Cardona room or something with all these damn action figures this guy's got. Like, I can't. How does like detectives formula? This just blows my mind. So some detectives, they were working a case against a guy who was stealing action figures. That's a thing.
Apparently.
I guess. Okay, fair enough. And I thought that would be the most random story we talk about this week, but I don't know. I think this one may take the cake. Former Marigold and AJW referee Katsumi Sasaki was found dead after being missing for a couple of days. And apparently he died and sustained a bear attack. A bear near his hotel has killed this man.
A bear?
A bear. A fucking bear killed Katsumi Sasaki. It's terrible. I hate, like, rest in peace to the late great Katsumi Sasaki, but I guess that you can't think of a crazier way to go, huh? I mean, a fucking bear kills you? Of course, I think that's kind of more, I won't say common, but I mean, more likely to happen in Japan than I would say here, but crazier things would happen. But anyways, that being said, let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week here on PW.
Hello, everybody. Yes, Harry, the fake snake, is back. He's the real star of the show for the random moment of the week with me, Brian. There you go. Okay, so last time we met, actually, I want to say it's going to be a wonderful week. First, let me get this out of the way. I think it's going to be a wonderful week, myself personally, because I got vacation all week. 7 days off in a row, which is rare, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Content galore coming your way all over the platform. So, with that, for the random moment of the week here on the tube for you, on the coal to the T to the V. And last time we talked about this What If series, we discussed the possibility of what if WCW did not close up in 2001. Different ownership other than WWF/E. Would it still be around today? If so, what would it be like? Things like that. Okay, so in the same sense, I want us to take a look at another company, and that would be ECW, the original ECW. Not long after WCW, or about that time, that's when they closed up, of course. So I want to look at what if ECW did not close up, did not close shop, close the doors, however you want to say it. Do you think that ECW would still be around today, the original, still by Paul Heyman, maybe a different financial backer, maybe a bigger company, let's say a big tech company would have purchased them? How would that have affected things? Do you think it would have closed up anyway, just shortly after? Like it was just for a certain period of time, and we know it helped breed the path for the future of what we now have in independent wrestling. when we had Ring of Honor come in 2002, PWG, and other companies, and even going into today. So, quite simply, I want to know, what do you think? What would the future for Paul Heyman, the wrestlers at that time, wrestlers today, back in the mid-2000s, all that, if ECW, the original, did not close in 2001?
Well, thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate you. And that is a good question. I wonder what would have happened if ECW had went on. There was rumors it was kind of going to go to a UFC kind of hybrid at the time. But what the hell are you doing, B-Roll?
Just reading the comic.
Oh, is that the new DCKO series featuring All Elite Wrestling?
It is indeed.
How is that, by the way?
Oh, only read the first issue. I don't even know if the second issue's out yet. But it's pretty good so far.
I think the storyline's kind of interesting. What's going to happen with there? You should definitely, you comic fans, check it out. Even if you don't like wrestling, still check it out because it's going to be a pretty interesting story. But speaking of interesting things, let's talk about this. So Jay White put out a tweet, and it seems like maybe he's coming back. Maybe he's healed up. Maybe he's ready to go. I tell you what, I am for it. I want to see the Switchblade back in an AEW ring because I think he's got a score to settle with a certain world champion. I'm just saying. I think that would be great to see that matchup with Jay White and Hangman Adam Page for the AEW champion. Because keep in mind, Jay White defeated Hangman not once but twice last year. So could be interesting to see what happens.
Well, and I think the world needs the Bang Bang Gang back together.
Yeah, I agree. What they mainly need was Switchblade, though. And those abs. I need those abs. I need them abs. But anyways, so this was kind of an interesting story that kind of broke this week. Tony Khan is potentially interesting in starting up AEW's own developmental program. It's interesting. I could see that. I would be curious to see who the coaches would be. But I think you have a lot of potential there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it and doing the right way. And I just think as long as they kind of let the talent still work independent dates and stuff, I think working indie shows is key. But having some sort of a type of developmental deal in place could be interesting to see. I don't know how exactly it would model, but like I say, the key would be letting the talent still do their thing. So, of course, I think this isn't like any time in the near future, but at some point could happen in the world of All Elite Wrestling. So, well, we want to talk about our indie spotlight every week, and this week we want to give our flowers and our love to a company we're very fond of, who we've worked with before in the past, Warrior Wrestling, who took a hiatus there for a little while. They are back. They are officially coming back this December with their Resurrection show, which will take place in Chicago, or the Chicagoland area. And already announced for that show, Willow Nightingale will be making an appearance. So, let's see. I think we went to 3 different Warrior shows throughout the years. Every time they were incredible. Solid shows. Great lineage of champions there. I mean, for God's sakes, Will Ospreay is a former Warrior Wrestling champion. So, awesome to hear them coming back. And I will say this, I think in the near future, we're probably going to be seeing a Warrior Wrestling vlog come to this channel. Because, we love us some Warrior Wrestling. So, stay tuned for that. We'll see what happens. But Warrior Wrestling, check them out on their socials. And if you're in the Chicagoland area this coming December, you got to check out the Resurrection show. Well, B-Roll, as we close up tonight here on PW60, we want to talk about something that's always very exciting here on Cole TV. And it's all going to start next week here on Cole TV. Check this out.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Halloween week is coming to Cole TV. Oh, what sights we have to show you.
Yes, indeed. It's always one of our favorite times of the years. Halloween week is coming here to Cole TV. It'll be here next week. We have all sorts of amazing content lined up for you the entire week. And it kicks off next Monday with a spooktacular episode here of Pro Wrestling 60. But you're going to want to tune into Cole TV. This is our 5th year of doing this, which is crazy to think. So we've got our annual Halloween special coming up to you. Very special Friday night movie night, another where we spin the wheel and make the deal. I think it's our 3rd annual one of those we've done here on the channel. And we got so much more amazing content coming to you. You're gonna want to check us out all next week here on Cole TV as Halloween week will begin. Well, that being said, folks, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. We do apologize about all the technical difficulties we have, but we made it through somehow. And we got another exciting week of pro wrestling action coming to you. We'll be talking about that all next week on Pro Wrestling 60. I'm Xlj the OG. This is Mr. B-Roll. And we'll see you next week as we kick off Halloween week here on Cole TV. Everybody have an amazing week, and we'll see you at Halloween week.